Hi, welcome to the second series of our masterclass about my Property P.L.U.S System, and today I'll be talking about the second, which the L, which stands for location and layout. So if you have missed the first masterclass that is talking about the P, which is pricing, please feel free to go back to our previous video where you will learn more about how to select properties looking at prices. Alright, so let's move on to location and layout. So the first thing I'll be talking about is actually layout. Okay, layout is actually pretty standard. This because Singapore property PSF is actually pretty high. So we want to get our house as efficient layout as possible, such that we can have maximum space as possible while having as little wasted space as possible. Alright, so in the past, before the year 2000, at the time government was actually not developers are not building actually any balcony. Okay, and then after that, in the year 2000 to 2010, developers start to build bay window, which is very small planter area, but however this type of space are considered wasted space because it has not been utilized at all. And from 2010 to maybe 2015, developers start to build very huge balcony space, okay, because they can charge the consumers on it. Then a lot of consumers feels that it's very wasted space, so that they are not actually very happy. And then developers after that going down and understand from the public, they start to build smaller balcony space. But then with smaller balcony space, yes, it gives an illusion of space, which is very good, but then again it become not fully utilized at all. So right now developers are actually after year 2000 that time to COVID period that time, developers are actually more understanding for the general public. They are actually building something very, very usable. Likely they can put a dining table or study table outside into the balcony such that everyone can utilize the space. So let's look at some of the layout that I'm talking about. So right now, the most efficient layout, okay, that we are looking at is actually living rooms and bedrooms. So take this number down, that for the common room size, normally it's between 8 to 9 square meter in sizes, but after COVID period, people want slightly bigger common room sizes. Therefore, the developers actually increased from 8 to 9 square meter. With a 9 square meter, it is big enough to either put a queen size bed inside or to put a single bed with a study table. So this is actually very good for people, when they want to house like your elderly parents inside one of the common room, or they have a children that can sleep inside the room and yet have a study table themselves. Okay, so they also want a bigger living room size because that's where we will be watching TV over there. Okay, however, do take note, do not go for too huge of a living room size because the balcony space is packed to the living room size with itself. So if you have a longer living room size, your balcony size will also be bigger, and in a way people will feel that is actually pretty much of a wasted space. What we want to be as small as possible is actually the corridor space. Okay, we want not to so developers right now are actually minimizing on the corridor space. So because this is only a walk space from the living room to the bedrooms, so the best is not to have this corridor space. Is it possible not to have this corridor space? Yes, it is very possible. For example, a 2-bedroom, we can have a dumbbell or a butterfly layout, as what I'm going to show you later, as compared to all the rooms at one side, Okay, and then right now, of course, we'll be talking about the third one that is either a reasonable or a required space, are like places like the kitchen, the storage, and the balcony. So balcony right now, don't go for something that's too big, or don't go for something that's too small that it become underutilized. Okay, you should have something big enough that you can either put a study table or a dining table. So sometimes you may want to have your meals outside, a foldable dining table, such that when you have more friends come to your house at time for a party, you can actually utilize the outdoor dining area for sitting area. Okay, or you can go to your balcony area to chill and relax, to have a nice good cup of wine, a glass of wine, where you can look at something very good view. Okay, now for storage space is more towards the 3-bedroom. Okay, so do look out for empty storage spaces, especially near to the entranceway. Okay, so sometimes home buyers feel that, this type of space are actually very underutilized, like wasted space at all. But don't forget, when you buy your property at the time, you want to stay inside, and when you get your ID at the time, your ID will want to build shoe cabinets or even storage spaces for your bags. So do look out for empty area such that you can build storage space on it. Okay. Third is the kitchen. Now, if we were to look at, it applies more towards the 2-bedroom or the one, mainly it's a 2-bedroom. So the developer right now do have some conflict regardless about kitchen sizes. Okay, so on one hand, you know, if the kitchen space is an open concept kitchen, well, it saves a lot of space where you the developer can utilize more space into the living room and into the bedroom. Okay, however, you know, if for home cooking that time, you would prefer an enclosed kitchen, but then it will take out more space into the living room area. So it's kind of like a, you know, pros and cons for each benefit. So what my take is that if you are going for investment property, okay, if you are going for not staying inside but you decide to rent it out, you will prefer something that's open concept kitchen because you want to minimize the cooking by your tenant. Okay. On the other hand, you know, if you meant for own stay, you of course you want a more open concept kitchen, or something like you want a more enclosed kitchen. So I'm going to show you two different layout example. One is a positive one is a negative one, and then I would just like to show you what you should be doing or what you should be looking out for when you decide to select a property. So let's look on the left hand side. This left hand side is what I call the most efficient current layout that is available out there. Okay, so from here the entrance, you can see that there's very little walk space, which is actually very good. On the right hand side, you can see that there is some empty space over here. Now this is what I call a requirement. Okay, it's something very good done by a developer because you can actually build a cabinet space over here, an entrance space over here, where you know you can put basically your bags or any belongings over there. Okay, and on the left hand side you will see that actually this is something like an enclosed kitchen. Okay, there's glass here but there isn't a door provided over here, so the washer is all inside, you know, and you have a fridge over here and a sink. Now very good is that for this type of concept kitchen, right, if this is a glass, you know, it will give an illusion of space where your house will actually looks bigger if you are sitting inside a living room. And that is also one of the reasons what a balcony is for. Okay, coming in, you know, this is a common bathroom. Again, I say that the bathroom sizes are set by BCA. We cannot change the size. Okay, you have a very good size or very good space for your dining area, and you know, walking into it, you will see that the master bedroom is on the left hand side and a common room on the right hand side. Looking at this style layout is what we call a butterfly or dumbbell layout. So the developer no longer built the common room on also the left hand side because there will be a corridor space, and that is what we consider wasted space. So this is the most efficient layout. Okay, more important for the living room is like we can put in a 3-seater sofa, you know, and it's parallel to against this wall. Okay, and on the left and right hand side, the master bedroom, it must be big enough to put a king size bed with two what we call tables or bedside tables. Okay, for you to put your handphone, you know, because a lot of people right now have handphone, and and the balcony space is actually big enough for you to put a dining table. So you can see that this dining table space you can actually put over here. So some people also put their dining table outside where they can utilize this space to make into like a study table or something like that. Alright, on the right hand side is something that is what I don't really recommend, or what I feel that it is actually something that's pretty weak. No, of course, I do understand that this developer is making this into a dual key unit, okay, but it has some negative points. Let's look at it. Firstly, when we enter into entrance, you can see that this is actually a pretty big walkway. Okay, so this, yes, it has a bomb shelter, very good. This can be used as a storage space for both units. But then again, you can see that this is a very long walkway as compared to this short walkway. Okay, so this is what I call, number one, the first wasted space. Secondly, when we enter into studio unit, you'll see that there's an open concept kitchen and enter into a studio. So definitely, when you look at this type of units, this area is meant for rental, okay, not so much for own stay. So, and you can see that because the dual key unit, it has two kitchen. So, you know, why do you need two kitchen unless you really intend to rent one unit out? Okay. Or at the window area, you'll see that there is a bay window over here. Again, this is what I call wasted space. So bay window is actually a ledge, okay, a height that you can sit on it. So why do we need this space? This is actually a very wasted space. Now entering into this area, one bedroom area, you can see that the toilet size is still standard, okay. You'll see that there's a smaller kitchen area, L-shaped kitchen, which means not much cooking can be done over here. Okay, you can see that you can only put a 2-seater sofa as compared to this is a 3-seater sofa. So definitely the living room size, it has been compromised. Okay, yes, the benefit is that it has a smaller balcony as compared to this, but then again, with such a small balcony, this space effectively is useless. You can't put a dining table outside, okay, or there's not enough space to build a dining table outside. Okay, of course, one good thing is that the master bedroom is big enough to put a king size bed. However, there is a bay window provided. Now, all this bay window is what we consider wasted space again. Okay, developers shouldn't have done all this. All right, but then again, if you look as compared to these two layout, okay, this layout, although you see that there's much more wasted space, the size is actually bigger. So don't fall into a trap of saying that, oh, you only look at the condominium total square feet size. No, in fact, a deeper dive is that you should look into what is the total size of the entire usable space. The keyword over here is usable space. The more usable space that is, the better it is. So when you're doing a two condo comparison at a time, compare the total usable space and not the total square foot space. Next, I'll be talking about is actually the 3-bedroom. So this is what I call a very effective, very good 3-bedroom size. Alright. So right now, let's look into this layout. This is actually a 3+ study. Okay. When you come in and enter at a time, yes, there is some space over here, which I feel that it is a requirement because you can build. Again, I say that you can build your over here you can build your cabinet spaces. Okay, so you can build a cabinet space at the entrance, or you can, and then you can have a mirror over here, okay, or some decoration over here. Coming into it, there is a kitchen with a yard area. Now let's look at this yard area. Okay, one I like about is that there is a toilet over here. Now this toilet, I always advise my client, hack it out, change it out, okay, make it flatten. All IDs will be able to do it for you, okay. And then you have like a storeroom space. Now this storeroom space you can use for two things. Number one, you can either use it to put all your belongings inside to have more storage space. Secondly, if you have a helper, your helper can use it over here, while you can change this toilet into a storeroom space itself. Okay, so this is something very good. Now you can see that there's a yard area. I think it's also a requirement. Why is a yard area requirement? So right now there's some technology that you can actually hang your clothes up, where you can pull it down and hang your clothes up. So I think this is where you can actually build your hanging of clothes up here. Okay, wet kitchen, standard sizes, I won't talk much about it. So now the dining area is also something very important, that for a 3-bedroom you should be able to sit up to 8 people, 3 at each side and 1 across each other. So this is the amount of space that you should have. Alright, again, living room area is big enough to put a L-shaped sofa, okay, and then a 3-seater L-shaped sofa, and then again, if you look at the balcony, I think this is actually a very good usable space, because again, I always look at the dimension or the ratio of the dining table as compared to outside. So with this dining table, yes, it is bigger than a 2-bedroom balcony. However, if you look into it that time, you can able to put this 6-seater or 8-seater dining table outside. So effectively, there are some households who like to put your dining table outside, where they can utilize this space into maybe another room, or maybe like a study area or children play area. Okay, coming to it, that we have a study. So after COVID, after 2020 at time COVID period, more people are working from home, and right now the government is also encouraging more 4-day work week and 1-day work from home. So looking down since 2020 at time, the consensus from the general public is that they want a study room. Okay, a study room become more of a requirement. Yet a study room is not a bedroom, and we do not want it to be too big. Alright, so therefore over here you can see that we over here have a study room space, and there's also a second complaint. just now you heard me that I says that the helper can stay in the household shelter. Okay, some people feel that no, house helpers are humans. You know, they must have a very good space by themselves. Therefore, an alternative is that you can also put a household, you can put the helper in this study area. You can convert this study area into your room itself. Okay, so this is also another alternative for the general public who feels that they should give your helper a proper room. Okay, so if helper can stay over here, you will have two storeroom over here. Now, why do the developer like to put a bathroom, a toilet, a mini toilet in the kitchen? Now, this is actually for two reasons. The first reason is that some people feels very personalized. They feel that your toilet is only meant for themselves. They don't want the helper to use your toilet. Therefore, the helper will use this toilet over here. The second reason is that, you know, when you do laundry at time, women will understand this, okay? Wives will understand this, and I learned this from my wife, okay? When you do your laundry that time, your laundry is actually wet, okay? And you want to quickly hang up your clothes, okay? Or you do washing in the toilet, you want to quickly transfer it to the toilet, okay? So now, in my household, I do not have this toilet over here. So my wife used to do her laundry, okay, especially the underwears, in this common bathroom, okay? And then, you know, with a huge pier, she has to take this wet pier all the way to the kitchen to hang the clothes or to put inside the washing machine. So, you know, water may drip all the way. And then this one is actually a shorter distance away to transfer your wet clothes all the way to the washing machine or to hang it up. So all your laundry is done in the kitchen area. Okay, so and therefore it will not make the floor wet at all. Alright. Again, same thing, you know, when I talk about the common room size, very good size, 9 square meter, you can put a queen size bed with, you know, with ample walking space on both sides. And of course, the master bedroom is not too big, it's not too small. Likely the entire space plus the toilet is 12 square meter, big enough to put a king size bed. So this is what I call the best layout. Now, talking so much about layout, I'm going to talk about the second thing, which is proximity to school. So this is why I'll be talking about location, the 3 factors of location, which I think is actually important. So the first one, you know, I talk about proximity to school is that the number one reason why people buy or want to buy from you or buy a resale property or why people move house is because they want to put your child nearer to the school of your choice. Okay, so, you know, I use this as one example, you know, St. Nicholas Girls' School, primary school. Again, if we to look at the prices, we will see that this is the median price, the black line is the median price in District 20, okay? And you can see that if you have a school that is nearer to, within 2 kilometers from the, a good primary school, you can see that the price is actually pretty selling higher, okay? Now, most of the time, I would say is that there is some difference, you know, buying a property that is nearer to the primary school. But you can see that the price, right, after 2014 onwards, right, there's not much the trend line is still the same, okay? Sometimes, if you are lucky, the price will be higher. But then again, it will normally follow the normal property price trend. But what I'm saying is that nearer to the school, it will fetch a higher premium pricing. Okay, so of course, if you know, what I would say is that the price trend is roughly the same. However, it will be easier to sell. So that is my take. Okay. The second thing I would like to talk about is developer reputation. Now, I find this is actually a pretty important point. So the first one I would say is like certain people have preferences for certain developers. Yes, I have actually met the general public, you know. I have some of my clients who tell me, including my wife, okay, who tell me, oh, I brought my wife to see multiple properties across Singapore, and you know, there are certain properties that she like, you know, she will say that, oh, I like CDL project. You know, CDL is the #1 developer of Southeast Asia, and you know, when she entered into CDL property that time, she always feel that, oh, the layout is always very efficient. Okay, some of my clients, they like Guacoland, or they like CDL, they like UOL, okay, UOL also, where they feel that, oh, it gives me a very high-end feel, it has a lot spaces of in the common facilities area. I feel very good staying in this environment because it feels very high end. Okay, some people like Land is because it seems to be like they like to do transformation of this and of the entire area of the estate. Okay, so there are certain people who prefer certain developers. Okay, second thing I think is important to look at is developer pricing strategy. So I feel that certain developers, okay, they are very strong and they are very confident in their project. Okay, so halfway through they will definitely increase the price. Okay, when they hit a certain benchmark, they 100% will increase the pricing. And when developers increase the pricing halfway the time, the people who buy your projects earlier, okay, will definitely make more profit than people who buy your projects later. Some of these developers are like Simlian, UOL, CDL. So these are some developers who will 100% increase our pricing. So when I'm looking for investors, helping my investors to select properties, I like to tell them that, oh, go with this developer. Okay, I am so confident. It's because that I am so confident with them is that, and looking at your past historical track record, that they always increase their pricing, okay, to give advantage to the early bird. That I am always able to guarantee profit regardless how the market cycle is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Even if the market were to drop, I know that 5 years later, 100%, your property I will still be able to guarantee to the minimum a 10% profit. So that's how confident I am if you choose the right developer. Okay, of course, there are certain developers who are not so confident, throughout the whole building process. They may not even increase the price at all. So this is what I'll be saying that, oh, you better be careful of this type of developer. Okay, next, some developers, because they are in the development itself, they are a major developer for Singapore. They do thousands of units per year. Okay, they can do up to 5 sites per year, and it can be 2,000, 3,000 over units. Therefore, when they purchase their orders that time, in terms of like floorings, in terms of the tiles, they are able to get a bigger bulk purchase. Therefore, with a bigger bulk purchase, they are able to bring down the overpricing of your development. Okay, so therefore they can also ensure better quality of finishing and also a cheaper cost. So, like for example, UOL, all your projects, they have been using marble flooring only. So if you want to, like for example, if you are insistent on buying for marble flooring, you should be only looking at Land and UOL, because these are the only 2 developers right now that they give marble flooring. Okay, now another aspect is that I give another example is that like CDL. Okay, CDL, because they also have another branch of property management. So they have hundreds of projects around Singapore, and because they have this property management company that handles all the UOL projects in Singapore in terms of management, in terms of maintenance. Therefore, they are able to offer a lower maintenance fee, because and they are also able to upkeep your condominium condition very well, even over a 10 years period, because they are using your same company to manage only your own properties in Singapore. Okay, so I mean, you can hear from me, I've always been talking about CDL. Yes, I feel that is really number one tier of Singapore, although they are not the most luxurious or not the most top-end developer of Singapore. Okay, now if you choose a good developer, they also work with very good architects. Good developer will actually every year go down to the mass market to get interview from them, to ask the general public how they can further improve your properties. So that's what they do, and from there on, they can improve the needs of consumers for the next few years, okay, down the road. And then that is why you will always feel that certain developers will always give very, very good layout, because they are always be updated with the current people in Singapore. Alright, and of course the last one, is that certain developers, they like to do transformation. So these developers, they do have a vision. They want to transform the area. Okay, so one big developer I just want to share about is is Guoco Land. So some of the projects that Guoco Land actually developed is like places like Tanjong Pagar, Bugis, okay, Midtown Modern, okay, Martin Road is actually, they have something called Martin Modern, and Martin Modern is so interesting until that they transform that area until that Martin Modern is the only 99 property that is surrounded by all the freehold developments. And because they did such a good transformation to Martin Modern, that a 99 property that is selling even more expensive than surrounding freehold property is able to fetch a higher profit than the surrounding freehold property. Okay, so that is why I talk like that. Very good developers is very, very important if you want higher possible profit. Last of all, I'll be talking about the MRT effect. So MRT effect, I have a separate article, a link, and I'll share the link below if you want to read, because I've done all my research on this MRT effect where I will talk about all the data. But in this video, I will not talk so much about it. In fact, I'll just do a summary of it. Okay, so now firstly, you need to understand that there is also a master plan for the transport master plan. Okay, and from there we will understand the MRT story. Okay, what is the future MRT lines. Okay, so the first point I'd like to make is that prices of nearby developments will increase after following an announcement of the new MRT station. So right now, if you go on to the LTA website, you will be able to see where are the future MRT lines. If you are still thinking about the Thomson East Coast line, you know, that is already way in the past. I've been using that before COVID, you know, in my last 10 years to tell my clients where to buy properties. Okay, so now in fact, you should be looking into even the Cross Island MRT line. The story has also been up. Okay, so you should be looking into the expansion of the Cross Island MRT line. Okay, the one that leads all the way to Pasir Ris to Pasir Ris, to Punggol, to even the airport itself. Okay, so I do look at that area pretty important. Of course, if you want to have a pretty Zoom session, you know, you can actually speak to me and I'll share more with you about the future MRT lines. Okay, so these MRT lines prices will actually go up when there's a announcement of the new MRT line. So if you buy the property before this announcement is made up to the general public, that will be an advantage to you. Okay, next, just to share my second point, the nearer to the MRT station, the higher the average prices. Now, I did not talk about profit. The profit is still the same regardless of whether how near you are the MRT station or 2 kilometers away from the MRT station, the profit is the same. It's just that the nearer the MRT station, you are paying a more premium prices. So is it worth it to buy near to MRT station? Well, the research in my article will say that if you go for near to MRT station during recession, you will have a less harder chance to sell your property or to rent it out. So you are paying more for near the MRT station for the convenience, which will actually helps you in maintaining your rent. Okay, it's easier to rent out. All right. Now, very standard, during construction, prices will 100% decline. Okay, so if you are entering the market, you know, it is good to buy properties where the MRT right now is under construction. For example, the Cross Island MRT line. Okay, so I will always tell my clients is that if you want to buy a property, is before the announcement or during construction. All right, these are the two best time to buy. If you really want to buy it at the lowest point, it's always before the announcement. Next, we will also talk about the commencement. So when the MRT is in operation, like right now the Thomson East Coast line, you'll see that the properties along the Thomson East Coast line, prices will start to increase. Okay, so that is where is your whole factor. You should be holding on to it, okay, and not selling it. All right. And you know, is all properties near MRT station built equally? So this is my last point that you really need to understand. Okay, the effects of post commencement will actually differ. So I have two research. One is that in very core central region like Bukit Timah area, upscale district, okay, Bukit Timah area that is already very well connected, you will see that the property prices never really go up by a lot, as much as those that is less well connected. Okay, so why? The reason is because Bukit Timah, most of people drive. they don't take MRT station. They don't take MRT. There's many buses along the Bukit Timah Road already. It's already very well connected already. So you build an MRT station over there. Yes, it will help the people, but it does not boost the price as much as those areas that is less well connected. For example, what I mean by the less well connected is actually the Cross Island MRT line. So before COVID, like roughly around 2018, I was actually sharing with my clients this property, Affinity at Serangoon. Okay, it's at Serangoon North Avenue 1. Okay, prices at that time was actually not very cheap. Okay, but then again, we know where the MRT station is going to be. It's going to be a 5 minutes walk. Okay, we study the empty plots of land in that area that is likely built, that where MRT will be built on this empty plot of land. Okay, there's no anywhere else where the government can build an MRT station at. So we know that from this quite ulu or quite obscure area that doesn't have many buses, yet we know that MRT station is going to be 5 minutes down the road. I tell my clients to invest in this property, you know, and right now the news are all up and the prices has continuously been increasing. So right now the MRT station is still not in operation, it's still in the construction phase, but which means we saw the first growth from here. Once the MRT station has been announced, we saw the first growth. Alright, and I am very certain once the MRT station has been constructed, we will see the second growth area. Okay, where we will know that the prices will start to shoot up even more once it will commence. Alright, so I will be linking this article below, in my link below. If you have any questions, just feel free to drop me a text or just comment in the video itself. Okay, that's all I have for location and layout, my L for my plus system, and that's all I have for you. See you in the next video. Bye.